everyone, welcome to your reading. So this video was suggested by a subscriber, so a huge thank you to them. We're starting off with the Queen of Swords. We have the King of Pentacles, we have the Hierophant, we have the Strength card, the Six of Pentacles, and the 10 of Pentacles. Now, I can't remember which reading it was, but I swear I filmed a reading recently where there was a Queen of Swords and her love interest was coming through as the King of Pentacles. It was the reading where there was also the King of Swords on the table. And I remember saying, not getting a good vibe from this King of Swords. I feel like this could be a past energy, and your future spouse is this King of Pentacles for the Queen of Swords. So if you remember which reading that is, please put it down in the comments. I've been filming a lot lately, so I can't recall. And I want to say it was one of the future spouse readings. And if you are from that group, also let me know in the comments, because, you know, it's the same situation here where this King of Pentacles feels like your future spouse and your energy is coming through as this Queen of Swords. And remember, gender doesn't really matter here. We're just talking about divine feminine versus divine masculine energy. And so even if you're a man watching this interested in a woman, it still applies. Your energy is still coming forward as the Queen of Swords. Now, you could be an air sign, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, and your future spouse is coming through as an earth sign placement or someone who has a lot of earth in their birth chart. So this would be Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. Especially Taurus, because we also have the Hierophant here. And I will say, and I think I mentioned it in that other reading as well, don't get so fixated on the zodiac signs, because until you know someone's whole birth chart, you could be missing a significant energy. So like, for example, my husband is an Aquarius, but pretty much every other major placement in his chart is Capricorn. So every time he pulls cards for himself, he gets the King of Pentacles a lot, even though you would think he would come out as the King of Swords, given that he's an Aquarius. Sometimes he does, but you know, a lot of times the King of Pentacles comes out as well because he has all of that Capricorn energy in his birth chart. So just be mindful of that. Always want to give that disclaimer, especially because it's a general reading. Group 1, I really had to pause for a second. I was like, wait a minute, have I not had my coffee? I was getting such a terrible headache, and I'm allowed one cup of coffee a day while I'm pregnant. And I was like, hold on a second, like, not me trying to film a reading without having had any coffee. That's just not gonna work. So anyway, I'll be taking a couple sips of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the signs, what you need to know before you meet your future spouse, what's going on. So during this time in your life when you're going to be meeting your future spouse, you're seeing a lot of success, a lot of up-leveling in your career, your professional life, your education level, your material wealth. It just feels like things are getting better for you in that area. So things are progressing really nicely from the 6 to the 10 of Pentacles. Now, do I think you're fully, getting to the 10 of Pentacles when you meet your future spouse? No, I think you're still in that process, but you're becoming more confident in your ability to get to this point. And I do feel like your future spouse is going to help you get to this point, because the 10 of Pentacles isn't just about the financial wealth. It's about the family, the connection, the sense of support, to help you, give you that sense of security. Because security doesn't just come from money, it comes from having the social support that you need. And so I really feel like your future spouse is going to bring in that aspect, that social support, that sense of security. And you may end up having a family together. And that's not going to resonate for everyone, but it could just be that you end up being really close with their extended family. But I do feel like at that time in your life, your confidence is growing. You're standing a little bit taller. So it's almost like Spirit is saying here, it's not so much about the signs in your external world, although we will get to that. But the biggest indicator that you're about to meet your future spouse is going to be how you feel. Look for signs within yourself, because you are going to feel so much more confident, so much more self-assured. And you're not going to have to put up such a tough front. Because with this Queen of Swords, it's almost like she's giving mixed signals. Like her hand is beckoning you forward, but she's still holding this sword in the other hand. So it's like, come closer to me, but also I can cut you with this sword if I need to, right? And so I do feel like, again, the biggest sign that you're going to be close to meeting your future spouse, that your meeting with them is imminent, is going to be how you feel. You're going to be more open-hearted. You're going to start to be more sociable. You're not going to be so closed off, so introverted. You're going to start to notice changes within yourself. And I think with this Six of Pentacles, it's because you've started to really master the art of setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. Not settling for breadcrumbs, and being very specific and decisive about who you allocate your time to. Who is worth your effort? Who is worth your energy? How much are you giving to each person here? And who is deserving and who isn't? Based upon how they treat you, right? And I do feel like at this time you are starting to become more open to the idea that you can meet your life partner, that you can have a healthy, lasting connection that does lead to marriage. Because I think maybe that desire has been there. But for you as the Queen of Swords, maybe you doubted whether it was actually going to come to fruition or not. And sorry, I'm super raspy. It's probably because I haven't had all my coffee yet. But anyway. So yes, I definitely feel like that's one of the biggest signs here. I also feel like you could potentially, and this isn't for everyone, but potentially you could be meeting your future spouse during the summer season, or during a time when you are going out a lot more. And so I just think, in the wintertime, we tend to stay in our homes more. But if you're someone who does get out more when it's colder, just maybe because you prefer the weather or you like winter activities, then disregard the summer message. But if you're someone who you're like, yeah, when the weather's warmer, I definitely get out more, then that could be when you meet your future spouse. So just apply that how it resonates. I feel like the summer season was also calling to me because of Leo season. So whenever Leo season is, I know everyone is from a different place watching this reading, so it kind of depends upon the seasons where you live, but Leo season, okay? So July and August would be significant months for when you could be meeting your future spouse as well. Because I just feel like this Leo energy is almost coming through like the heart of the reading. And Leo is associated with the heart, so that makes a lot of sense. But I feel like it's almost like you've been this kind of like frosty, sort of like, ice queen or ice king kind of energy. And so it's like in preparation for you meeting this King of Pentacles, whose energy is very golden, right? You see all of the gold on the card. The pentacles are always gold. Very different, right? Than like the cold steel of the sword. It's almost like you're thawing out. Like you've been keeping yourself frozen for a while and you're thawing out. You're becoming softer. More open to this idea of love. In a very real and grounded way with the King of Pentacles. And I think this King of Pentacles is so good for this Queen of Swords because this is someone who is so open and honest and very practical and just someone who means what they say. and does what they say that they're gonna do, someone who can keep a promise, someone who is true to their word. And so I feel like you are sort of aligning with this energy. So in preparation to meeting them, you are taking on some of their positive qualities. You're becoming more in alignment with this. Because I think if you were fully in your Queen of Swords energy when you met your future spouse, like we discussed before, you could be giving them mixed signals. Come closer. No, not that close. Come closer. No, I need space. And that comes from, I think, a place of fear, of not wanting to get hurt, of not wanting to get burned, of not wanting to feel foolish, of not wanting to play yourself. And I'm also being drawn here. You see how she has these like really cool boots underneath this long dress? But you know, they're kind of hidden a little bit, right? Whereas here with the Strength card, she's got like this high slit. I feel like even the way you're going to be dressing, and not that you have to show more skin to be more confident or anything like that, but I feel like you could be altering your style a bit. Because I definitely feel like this look here is a lot more romantic. So I definitely feel like even the way that you're dressing, this feels softer to me, the way the fabric is draped over her, versus this, which looks more structured right here. So I think you could be changing up your style. I feel like all these changes that you're making almost kind of sneak up on you during this time period. Like, it's not a conscious thing. It's not like you're sitting here saying, okay, I'm going to revamp everything. It's not like that. It's sort of like one thing leads to another. You start showing up differently in your life. One small change leads to more. So maybe you do start to feel like, I want to go out more, I want to be more social. And then maybe you start meeting new people and you become inspired by who they are. You know how you meet someone and you're like, oh wow, they have really cool style. And even if it's not a conscious thing, they could start to influence you. Or those new people that you're meeting are helping you boost your confidence. You know, they're good people, they're supportive people. So maybe you have some clothes in your wardrobe that you haven't worn even though you've always wanted to. You could also be styling your hair differently. Maybe you change your hair color, get a big haircut around this time, redecorate your home, change your aesthetic, do your makeup differently if you wear makeup. But there's just something about you making both lifestyle changes, but also changes to your physical appearance. And there's a change in your overall demeanor. You're not as reserved anymore. Like we said, you're more sociable, you're more open, more adventurous, more confident. And you could also be getting a new pet around this time. Not for everyone. But if you've noticed all these changes within yourself and then you're also feeling called to all of a sudden adopt a cat or a dog, whatever, that could be a sign that you're getting closer to meeting your future spouse. Because a lot of this is just noticing changes within yourself. Those are going to be the biggest signs that you are close to meeting your future spouse. Even if we think about the blade here, and you know how you can see your reflection? That's what it's encouraging you to do. And there's nothing wrong with this Queen of Swords energy. I love the Queen of Swords. But it does feel like you are going to be not fully abandoning this energy, but you're going to be kind of opening up to some forgotten aspects of yourself. Some softer, I guess a softer side to yourself that has been maybe neglected for a while. Your romantic side. So it's almost like you're going through this process of romanticizing your life, of finding a way to fall in love with your life right before you meet your future spouse. And think about it. If financially things are going better for you, you'll have the money to make these changes. Because adopting a pet, pets are expensive over time. That's a financial investment. Gracie's cost me a pretty penny, I'll tell you that. And it takes money to, change up your style. Redecorate your home, all of that stuff we were talking about. Okay, we have ghost, fantasy, and lion here. So definitely that Leo energy is so important. So I think you taking on more qualities of Leo, look up some of the traits of Leo. We've talked about a lot of them. And I also think we didn't really touch on this, but with the Six of Pentacles, Leo is a very generous sign. So if you find yourself feeling more charitable towards people, giving more of your time, your energy, you feel called to start volunteering, called to make a donation, help out your friends more. And again, starting to feel more proud of yourself, confident, starting to feel more loyal to what you love. So I think Leo energy is just so significant, as well as Leo season. And then with ghosts, and you could actually be seeing just symbolism of lions or cats around the time of you meeting your future spouse. Just take that if it resonates, but you could be seeing that as well. And then with ghost here, I do feel like a lot of you are going through a process of making peace with the past, but also here with ghost, before you meet your future spouse, you may have people from your past trying to contact you. So if all of a sudden people that you no longer associate with, or an ex, or just someone that you haven't had any sort of contact with for a while, if they start to reach out to you, that could be a sign, that you're close to meeting your future spouse. For a few of you, your future spouse could be someone from your past. That doesn't have to mean an ex. It could have just been someone that you went to school with, or someone that you grew up with, but that's a more specific message and definitely not going to resonate for everyone. And with this fantasy card, I really feel like this is picking up on that idea of you romanticizing your life around the time that you meet your future spouse. I feel like you're definitely going to be daydreaming a lot more. You're just in a more romantic mood. And again, you may not know why. If you're, for example, it could even be as straightforward as you're someone who always likes to read mysteries and thrillers. That's how I am. Or you, like to watch comedy movies or sitcoms. But then all of a sudden you find yourself drawn to romance novels, or, romantic comedies, or, just love stories in general. You don't usually listen to a lot of love songs, but all of a sudden you're drawn to that. You are going to be your biggest clue, which is so funny, group one, but you are your biggest clue. It's like your soul knows something that your mind doesn't know yet, or your heart knows something that your mind doesn't know yet. It's like you have a intuitive sense that this connection is close. And even just noticing the way that she's embracing the home here, I feel like this is re-emphasizing that idea that you could be called to redecorate your home at this time, relocate or move for some of you. You could be called to do some reorganizing, some deep cleaning of your home as well. Just a lot of emphasis on the home and creating a safe space. And Leos, and I'm a Leo myself, we can be really particular about our things and about our space. We like things to be a certain way. We don't really like people to touch, or get into our things. And so it could be that you're kind of really taking stock of your space and saying, how can I make this more comfortable, more inviting? How can I make this a place that's more reflective of me and who I am today? So again, I think just a whole revamping of your style or your aesthetic in some ways, even within your home. And you know, that makes a lot of sense as well. If we think about your career or your professional life being busier, your social calendar being busier, you need a safe space to come home to, a place to unwind, a place to reconnect with yourself. And I also think this is all tied up in you romanticizing your life more too. So having a home where you have that energy present, even if it's as small as like, okay, I want to buy this tea kettle so I can feel like I'm in a Wes Anderson movie, you know, whatever the case may be. We have freedom. We have forgiveness. And we have boundaries. Okay. With this boundaries card here, that picks up on what we were discussing in the very beginning, with you being in a space where you're finally able to hold and maintain healthy boundaries. And you know what those boundaries are. And I love the repeating imagery because we always see the infinity symbol above her head in the strength card. And we talked about that being so significant in your reading, right? That Leo energy. And now we see it here again. And you know, Leos, we advocate for ourselves, you know? We're ruled by the sun. We make ourselves a priority. And we understand that's not selfish. We are very generous. But we also know in order to keep being generous, we have to take care of ourselves first. And so with the boundaries card here, I definitely feel like this infinity symbol may start to show up in your life. You may just start to notice it or see a lot of repeating 8s. So you may see a lot of angel numbers with 8 in it, or just repeating 8s. Or again, just noticing that infinity symbol showing up a lot in your life. I feel like this forgiveness card is really picking up on this ghost card that we had before. So you may end up reconciling with someone, making peace with someone from your past right before you meet your future spouse. And this doesn't mean you let them back into your life or anything like that. I really feel like this is talking more about getting closure. Getting closure, being able to move on with a lighter heart, not having resentment or any emotional baggage that you're carrying around from whatever that connection was. And it could be multiple people for some of you. But it's just this feeling of freedom from the past, not being weighed down. And I love that this freedom card has this red ribbon here because it's making me think of the red string of fate. And so I definitely feel like a lot of when you're going to meet your future spouse has to do with divine timing. And divine timing is usually set by how ready we are. So it makes a lot of sense then that your biggest indicator of when you're going to be close to meeting your future spouse is going to be that you start to notice yourself change a lot. And you notice that you feel called to make certain changes in your life. And with this freedom card, some of you really might be relocating or starting your own business, taking some kind of big leap of faith towards what you want, what your heart has been calling you towards. Because I do feel like there's just this energy of bravery around you, of feeling courageous. And that's the Leo energy too. And you know, Leo is also very creative energy. So if you find yourself feeling more artistic, all of a sudden you want to take up painting. All of a sudden you want to go to that pottery class. You start writing poetry. You start doing crafts. You start to knit. There's so many different ways to be creative, right? But you just start to expand your interests. Or maybe there's a hobby that you haven't done in a while that you neglected. Maybe you used to love to sketch, but you haven't done it in a while. Maybe you start to pick that back up, or you feel called to do so before you meet your future spouse. I also feel like you're going to start noticing doves. For some of you, this symbol of peace. like 2 turtle doves. You may start to notice doves or just birds appearing in 2s. So even if they're not right next to each other, if you see one bird fly by and then another one quickly follows, that could be a sign. I'm also hearing cardinals. Seeing red birds, cardinals, could be a sign that you're about to meet your future spouse. I'm also being called to the dragonfly here. So seeing dragonflies, especially if they appear in 2s, could also be a sign. There's also something really significant here about lights. I wonder at the time you meet your future spouse, is there candlelight? Are there a lot of lights because it's Christmas time? Or are there a lot of lights because it's nighttime and you're in the city? Is it sunset? There's something specific about the lighting. And I know that's such an odd message, but there's something specific about the lighting. Something noteworthy. Like you notice the lighting. Something pretty about it. We have Neon City. Oh wow. The lights are blinding. So yeah, maybe it will be nighttime. Maybe maybe you'll be in the city when you meet your future spouse. That's funny. And then we have Alien Planet, make yourself at home, adaptability, change, and originality. All we have is now. For some of you, you really might move. Like just before you meet your future spouse, you might move. And that makes a lot of sense for the changes that we were seeing within you. Because if you're moving to a new place, you're probably going to be influenced by the culture of that new space, by the landscape, by the seasons, by the weather. I mean, so much about moving to a new place can be really inspiring. And that could also spark that creativity that we were talking about as well. And you're trying to make your new home and your new place. So of course you're going to be decorating, organizing, cleaning, all of that stuff, trying to get your new home together for some of you. That would actually explain a lot of what we've been picking up on. And if you end up moving because you got a really great job offer, maybe you do have to change your wardrobe because of this new job that you have. So that would make a lot of sense as well. If that's not resonating, that's okay. But I do think that's really interesting. It's funny, in this Neon City card, you see this hand, like handing this sculpture. And then here we see, not the same sculpture, but a similar one. I don't know, maybe it is the same one. It looks a little different to me. In this card here, I don't know, it's like someone helping her move. And it's like we bring a little bit of the old with us, but then we transform it. I do feel like some of you are going to be relocating or moving prior to meeting your future spouse. And with this Neon City card, when you do move to a new place, it is overwhelming. You don't know where anything is. You may not know anyone in this new place. You can feel, especially if you're from a more rural area and you move to a larger city, that can be overwhelming. I think the opposite can happen as well, where you live in a crowded place or a place where there's a lot to do, and then you move somewhere where it's quieter and you have to drive further to get to anything. That can be a big adjustment as well, just in a different way. So I think you're adjusting to a lot, and because you're in a new environment, you're feeling more challenged. And so it's like you have to step up. You have to feel confident in yourself that you can adapt, that you can make it on your own. And if you're going to create a home for yourself, you can't lock yourself up in your new place and not leave it. You have to get out there and meet new people, right? Because making a home for yourself involves having connections with others, getting out of your comfort zone. And I also feel like with this Neon City, this is picking up on that idea of light finally being shown. Whereas I think before, if you think about a blinding light, like you can't see, right? The lights are blinding. But once your eyes adjust to the light, you see everything for what it is. Because the light brings truth, right? Reveals secrets that were kept hidden in the dark. And so maybe what you were closed off to before, things that you didn't want to admit, things that you didn't want to acknowledge, feelings that you had repressed, are now being called forward and you have to deal with them. And that could be that ghost, that person returning from your past and you getting that closure. Maybe you tried to just forget, but now you're getting that closure that I think you really needed. So you're having to adapt a lot, having to make a lot of changes. And for some of you, maybe it's not moving to a whole new place. Maybe it's just starting a new job or having a new position or starting your own business. But it's some kind of life change that sort of has a domino effect that forces other aspects of yourself to change as well. And for the better, definitely for the better. A lot of self-development is happening around this time. Okay, now we're going to get 3 spark romance matchsticks, just as a fun little way to end your reading, to see some of the stuff that you will end up doing with your future spouse. And then we have 3 Thera-Pets messages from your future spouse's higher self. If they could say something to you now, what would they say? Okay, let's start with your matchsticks here. We have undertake a long-term project together. That's very King of Pentacles energy. Like they are the type of person that you would want to help you with a long-term project. It's fixed earth energy. Like they are someone that you can rely upon. I wonder if some of you are going to be building a home with your future spouse one day. Like you guys decide to buy some land and just build your own home. I wouldn't be surprised with the King of Pentacles that would be possible, because usually the King of Pentacles is in a really great financial place, and you also got the 10 of Pentacles, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that. Or if you buy a home and decide to renovate, especially with the imagery that we have here on this card. We have stay in and have a game night. Very cozy. If you guys do like board games and that kind of thing, let me know in the comments what you like. And then we have absence makes the heart grow fonder, take a few days apart. I definitely feel like between you presenting as this Queen of Swords in the very beginning and your future spouse coming through as the King of Pentacles, you all are not going to be a clingy, codependent kind of relationship. You're going to value your quality time together, but it's quality over quantity. It's like we both have our own separate goals. We're both who we are as individuals. We don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that. And even that Leo energy, like Leo is very much like, I'm going to prioritize me first. I have to take care of me first so that I can be generous with others. So you're not going to lose yourself in this relationship. Even when you're married, you're still going to have your own things independent of your future spouse. And so it's really going to be a relationship where you don't have to spend every minute together to feel secure in the connection. There's trust there. There's a lot of trust. We have, it's okay to float along. It's okay to just be. I love that because I feel like if you're coming through as the Queen of Swords right now, Group 1, you're probably really hard on yourself and you probably need this message that it's okay to just be sometimes. You don't always have to be perfect or poised or have it all together. You don't always have to be productive. You don't always have to be someone who looks like they have it all together. You don't always have to seem so perfect. We have self-care the crap out of life and you'll get through it okay. So if you're going through a hard time right now, or you just really overworked yourself, been too hard on yourself, been overly self-disciplined with yourself, take some time for self-care. Your future spouse is saying, self-care is also productive. Like, you're gonna be okay, just take care of yourself. Here's that cat energy coming up again. We have anxiety lies. There's no doom incoming and you're managing everything just fine. Yeah, I mean, the Queen of Swords is also someone who can really get in her head. She can overthink a lot. She's so smart. She's so clever. But in that same breath, it's like, what is her strength can also be her weakness. Her intellect can also be her detriment. It's like you're almost too smart for your own good, and you imagine these scenarios and all of these possible outcomes that don't come to fruition. And that's where that anxiety comes from. And so I feel like your future spouse really wants you to ground yourself. No surprise if they're the King of Pentacles. They're like, calm down, ground yourself, take a breather, take a minute, calm back down, because your head is in the clouds. You're overthinking, you may have racing thoughts. Calm back down, breathe, relax, be present, get grounded, do some self-care. Accept where you are now. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So group 1, this was your reading. I know I had some interruptions, so you're gonna see some jump cuts when you're watching this. Unfortunately, the cats got into a fight and couple other things happen. So if you see a lot of jump cuts, I apologize for that. Hopefully I'm able to edit it in a way where it's not super noticeable, but I do apologize if you do see a lot of jump cuts. Okay. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. 2, welcome to your reading. So we have the Four of Swords, we have the Star card, we have Judgment, we have the Magician, we have Nine of Wands, and we have King of Cups. I have this little acorn crystal over this Star card just because it is a little bit revealing. So just to keep YouTube happy, I've got the little crystal over it in case you're wondering why. Also, I just want to share this with you all before we get into your reading. When I was doing my resume and I had submitted it to Career Services to help them look it over, for them to look over to help me, not to help them. But anyway, I had used the word judgment. I think I had used like clinical judgment or something like that on my resume, and she had brought it back to me with the word corrected. She said, judgment doesn't have an E in it. And I realized, like, over time, reading tarot for as long as I have, I've just started spelling judgment with an E. And I mean, over in, I'm pretty sure in the UK in general, like, this is how they spell judgment. And I mean, from my knowledge, tarot didn't originate in America. So, it was over in Europe. So that makes a lot of sense for why it's spelled with an E here. But anyway, so just had to give you guys that little story. Okay. You all are so different than group 1. So different, like night and day. They were getting into their like Leo energy. They were in their Leo era and, being more sociable, opening up their heart, feeling more romantic. Not you, group 2. Group 2, you are tired. Like before you meet your future spouse, you are tired. You are exhausted. You have had enough. Like with this Nine of Wands, you are just over it. You are so tired. And with this Four of Swords, you're giving yourself a much needed break. A much needed break. You've been like putting in so much effort, trying to hold things together, trying to keep it together, trying to keep your faith, and you're just exhausted. So tired. Like I just feel such a strong sense of fatigue from your cards here. And with the Judgment, your guides see that. And so I feel like for some of you, like you prayed, you've wished, you've hoped for, you've tried to manifest your future spouse, and before you meet them, it's almost like I'm giving up. I'm so tired. And it's funny, it's that feeling of giving up that is actually your moment of surrender. And it was like the final puzzle piece that was missing for your future spouse to come in. And karmically, you deserve this future spouse. Your future spouse is coming through as this King of Cups. So remember, this is divine masculine energy. Doesn't have to be talking about gender. And this is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. Now, like I told group 1, this doesn't have to be their sun sign. It could just be that they have a lot of water in their chart, okay? So don't get discouraged. If you think someone's your future spouse and their sun sign is in, Aries, and you're like, that's a fire sign. My future spouse is supposed to be the King of Cups. He could have a Cancer moon. He could have a Venus in Scorpio, a Mars in Scorpio. It doesn't have to be that his sun sign is a water sign. Just want to give that disclaimer. Okay. Or I should say there, to keep it gender neutral here. And I think the Star card is really significant because yes, when your future spouse comes in, it's going to be a wish fulfillment. It is. It's a really big wish of yours, a big prayer that's being answered, something major being manifested into your life, but also the way that she's having to pour all of this water into this lake, but then also she's got one foot on the ground here trying to water the grass. This tells me like you've been really trying at this time, like right before you meet your future spouse, you've been trying for a long time to take care of sort of nurturing this wish, this hope, keeping your emotions in check, being patient, keeping your faith. That's a lot of work in and of itself. Keeping your faith, that's a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of self-discipline, quite honestly. But then at the same time, trying to manage your day-to-day responsibilities, trying to keep up with practical matters, you're exhausted. You're tired. And so you may end up taking a vacation, taking some time off from work. You may end up just saying no to a lot of people, staying at home more. You may find that you're sleeping a lot more. If you've never been someone who takes naps, you might start taking naps. You may have a lot of headaches around this time. You see how she's like holding her hand over her eyes and on her forehead here. Here she kind of has this bandage around her forehead. You may have a lot of headaches. You may have a lot of headaches around this time. You're not feeling great. You're not. But this King of Cups comes in. And isn't this the perfect partner to come in? When you're feeling like this, the perfect partner. Someone who's sensitive, someone who's nurturing, someone who's understanding, someone who has a lot of compassion, a lot of emotional intelligence, a lot of sensitivity. Someone who's going to be very soft and gentle with you. Someone who's going to have a lot of patience with you. Someone who is a giver. He has his own cup here to give you. He takes care of himself. I know I keep saying he just because it's the King of Cups, but again, this can be a woman. It's just masculine energy. But my point is, you don't have a lot to give at this time. Like, you need to work on self-restoration at this time, right? Because you're feeling very depleted, very tired, emotionally, physically exhausted. You've had too much going on. And it's going to vary for all of you. I think for everyone watching this reading, keeping your faith and being patient about your love life has taken a lot out of you. But in terms of what's going on in your day-to-day, that's going to vary. Because all of you have different stuff going on, but it does feel like it's been hectic, it's been chaotic. There's been a lot of conflict maybe. It's just felt exhausting. And so you don't have a lot to give. And I think you are used to being the giver in relationships. And you've dealt with a lot of takers. So this King of Cups comes in as your future spouse. And you, a giver who has nothing left to give, is finally meeting another giver. Someone who does have something to offer, not someone who's just going to take and take and take and leave you high and dry. So that's what's going on with you, okay, around the time that you meet your future spouse. Now, in terms of like signs that you'll see in your external environment, things may be happening in your life in threes. And I know that seems like an odd message, but they do say that if you've ever worked in any field where there's a lot of death, like an assisted living, a nursing home, hospice, a hospital, they say that death happens in threes. And death is very much divine intervention, right? It's fate, it's judgment, this is what is happening. There's no controlling death, really. We can try to push it off, but it's going to happen when it's going to happen. And you see these people like rising from the coffins here. So things may happen in your life in threes. I'm not saying there's going to be 3 deaths before you meet your future spouse. I'm just saying the events in your life may start to happen in threes. So you may have 3 instances of bad luck, of things that feel like bad luck. You may have 3 things in your life that feel like good luck. You may have 3 losses, 3 gifts, 3 opportunities, 3 closed doors. It's going to vary, right? Like what it is, but you'll notice a pattern of 3s in your life. 3 rejections, 3 yeses. But you'll just start to notice patterns of 3s in your life before you meet your future spouse. You may also notice that certain things you wanted to manifest finally start to come true. Not only, if you've been trying to manifest things other than meeting your future spouse, you may start to notice that those things start to come true or start to manifest in your reality right before you meet your future spouse. And that may be why you're feeling a bit tired and overwhelmed, because even positive changes can cause us to feel exhausted. If you get a new job opportunity and you've been really trying to manifest a new job, starting a new job is stressful. You got to go through the onboarding process. You have to meet all these new people, understand, a new workplace dynamic, learn your job, get used maybe to a new schedule. It can be a lot. Even a positive change in your life can be a lot. Okay, now we have mushrooms, wall, and rebellion. I definitely feel like with this mushroom card, remember how we said you were going to be sleeping a lot more or taking more naps? I feel like you're going to get a lot of signs that your meeting with your future spouse is coming soon, because you're going to start to have some really weird and strange dreams that I think initially you're not going to quite know what to make of them. They're not going to be like straightforward, hey, this is your dream, this is your sign that you're meeting your future spouse soon. They're going to seem they're just weird, not like your typical dreams that you have. Or if you're someone who never remembers your dreams, you're going to wake up and think how odd it is that you remember these vivid dreams that you're having. Or maybe you're someone who doesn't typically dream, but you will prior to meeting your future spouse. And so I think there's just going to be some odd sort of symbolism in those dreams that you don't quite know what to make sense of. So if you're having really confusing dreams, really vivid dreams that you can actually recall, that's a sign that you're meeting with your future spouses soon. These mushrooms also make me think of Alice in Wonderland. And see how this wall card, this symbol here, is the same as the one on the rebellion card. So you have this repeating image here. And it does look like she's not falling, but she looks like she's standing. And it's making me think of the rabbit hole. And so I do feel like, especially with the rebellion here, Alice isn't meant to go down the rabbit hole, right? Like she's meant to sit quietly out in, I don't know if they're in a garden or where they're at, the meadow, but she's not supposed to go running off chasing a white rabbit. And so I feel like during this time, you are asserting yourself, you're asserting your boundaries in the sense of like, I need space. Maybe you tend to be a people pleaser. Maybe you tend to say yes to everybody, but you're so tired, you're so exhausted during this time. We've already established that you're used to being a very giving person. But I feel like during this time, it's like you've created this wall of protection around yourself because you're so tired. You realize that you're burning out. And so you're saying no a lot more. You are more guarded. You are maintaining your peace. And with this eye here repeating, it's making me think of the evil eye of protection. So you may start to see the evil eye symbol a lot before you meet your future spouse, or you may be drawn to that. Maybe you already, wear like an evil eye pendant or ring or something like that. You may be feeling called to wear it more or to keep it closer to you. It may start to become like a comfort object for you. Or if you've never worn it before, you may be called to purchase it. Like a little evil eye keychain or, something that you can take everywhere with you. Or a ring or a pendant, like we said before, earrings even. But just something that you want to keep close to you. And even if it doesn't end up being the evil eye, it could just be something that is almost like a talisman, something that brings you a sense of comfort and protection. I know for me personally, my great-grandma, she's passed on, but she was definitely a mother to me. And she always had, the big pens. She was a church lady. She always had the big pens. She had a lot of costume jewelry. And so I have a lot of her brooches, the pins that she would wear. And so sometimes I'll take that with me, and I used to have it. I used to have them a lot in my older readings, just as a kind of symbol of protection and comfort for me, because I was starting my channel and it was very new to me. So yeah, you could have, or you either could have a talisman that you already use that you're keeping closer to you, or it could be that you are feeling called to carry a talisman, something that will make you feel safe, a comfort object. I think if you also work with crystals, or you may start to feel called to work with crystals. All of you are different, right? But if you already work with crystals, you're going to be using your crystals a lot during this time, which makes sense. If you're feeling depleted, you could use your crystals to cleanse your energy, protect your energy, change your energy. And if you don't already use crystals, you could be getting into them during this time. I also feel like the symbolism of flowers. I know that there's a language of flowers. Certain flowers have different meanings. Start to notice flowers that you see around you. You can look up their meanings. Not even just flowers, plants in general, herbs. You may even start drinking a certain kind of tea around this time. If you're a tea drinker, all of a sudden you can't stop drinking peppermint tea or chamomile tea. Something very soothing though. Maybe you always get coffee at Starbucks and all of a sudden you start drinking tea. Something like that. I'm also being called to the blood from the trees here. There could be some conflict with family during this time, and that could be why there's this sense of rebellion. Maybe you're used to being the peacemaker in your family, making everyone happy in your family. Maybe you're used to being the scapegoat and biting your tongue, avoiding conflict. Or maybe your family has always, been a difficult relationship for you in general with your family. And so you're finally maybe cutting certain people off, distancing yourself, choosing to love them from a distance, learning how to say no to them. But it does feel like for some of you, there could be conflict with family. Or if you have close friends that are like family to you, it could be some conflict. And that can happen when you are someone who gives too much. And then you start to set boundaries, start to assert yourself more. People don't always respond favorably to that, right? Because they were benefiting from you overgiving. Sorry, there's a lot of messages with this one card. Also, if you are someone who, and I know this is going to sound maybe a little gross, but if you're someone who menstruates, with the blood on the trees here, it could be that you're noticing something off with your cycle. Or maybe you have a more difficult cycle. That would explain why you're feeling so tired. Hormonally, something could be going on with you. Like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're not feeling super great. You're not in a super great space. You're not. But you are, I think, because you're feeling so low, it's finally pushing you to take care of yourself. Because I really feel like you need to retreat a bit. It's like you've been fighting a battle for so long. You need to retreat for a bit. And you need to pour into yourself. You need to take care of yourself. It's just reached a breaking point for you. Okay, we have truth, good luck, and reconciliation. With this reconciliation card, I feel like there's a lot of forgiveness and acceptance of your past self. You're finally giving your past self some grace. And I feel like if you were resonating with that message of having conflict with your family or your close friends, this card is really coming through to say, like, before you meet your future spouse, you're having some really difficult conversations. And you're either reconciling those differences or you're coming to a place of peace with them and understanding, like, I can't change them. I can't change how they act. I can't change what they've done to me. But I can reach a point of making peace with it so that I can move forward. So yeah, there's a lot of tough conversations that are being had. Now with this good luck card, this is reminding me of Judgment in the very beginning. And I remember how I said things happening in threes. And the ladybugs here especially. And you even see, like, way back here, the little leprechaun, the pot of gold. This looks like a rainbow as well. So you could be seeing rainbows. And remember, rainbows are always on, or typically are on, the Ten of Cups, which is the card of emotional fulfillment. So you could be seeing rainbow. You could be seeing rainbows or rainbow colors a lot before you meet your future spouse. You could even be called to dress more colorfully, but that message isn't going to resonate for everyone. And I like how they have a black cat here. Because I do feel like, and you know, I know, especially in America, there's this stupid superstition. I really tripped myself up there. That black cats are bad luck. I think in the UK it's the opposite, or in England it's the opposite. I don't know if it's all of UK or just England, where white cats, I think, are considered bad luck. If you're from England, put it down in the comments if I'm wrong or not. But anyway, this is telling me a few things. One, you could be having 3 instances of good luck, like we were talking about before. You'll notice things happen in your life in threes before you meet your future spouse. Your luck could start to change before you meet your future spouse. Ladybugs, you may notice ladybugs before you meet your future spouse. But also black cats. So you may literally see black cats, but also you may start to notice that things that you initially perceive as bad luck end up being a blessing in disguise for you. So your perception makes the difference. Your perception is everything. And the little acorns up here, making me think of like squirrels, like preparing for winter. I feel like you are kind of gathering your resources at this time. Like you're very focused on yourself, very focused on getting your life together, getting things in order, taking time for yourself. Almost like everything that you've neglected that you were needing to do for yourself, you're finally doing. And with this truth card here, I do feel like someone could confess something to you before you meet your future spouse. There could be a confession. And that could be the thing that pushes you to take some time for yourself, because maybe this truth is hard to hear. And maybe you need to just take some time to heal from it, to make peace with it. For others of you, it could be finally seeing a truth about yourself, finally seeing that, wow, I am a people pleaser. Or, yeah, I do give too much. I do victimize myself by putting too much effort into the wrong relationships. It's going to vary for all of you, but I do think this is also a period of self-reflection for you before you meet your future spouse. And I do think your dreams are significant. And you will be getting a lot of psychic downloads at this time as well, starting to understand some truths about the universe and how manifestation and the law of attraction and karma, how all of these things work. Mirrors could be really significant as well, or anything that's reflective, like bodies of water too. So maybe you feel called, if you have a lake nearby you, or the ocean, a river, a creek, whatever nearby, you may feel called, to just go sit by the water. You could be taking more baths, more showers, because there is this energy of like wanting to cleanse. We have the cold lands. Learn how to keep yourself warm. Abandonment, challenges, and aloofness. And we have childhood home. Tap into your inner child, childhood memories, play, and youthful energy. Okay. This cold lands card, I think, is one of the toughest cards in this deck. And I feel like it's picking up on a lot of what we talked about before, with the Four of Swords in the very beginning, and that Nine of Wands, you feeling exhausted. Learning how to keep yourself warm. I think you're an overgiver. I think you give so much and you get so little in return. And you're starting to learn, before you meet your future spouse, how to give to yourself, how to save some of that warmth for yourself. And some of you may be going through a process with that reconciliation card of understanding maybe you have a fear of abandonment because you have been abandoned a lot. You've dealt with people, like we said before, who took and took and took and didn't give much back. You've had to face a lot of challenges on your own. That's why you're so exhausted from the Nine of Wands, right? But I feel like you're not afraid anymore. Even these, I guess they're supposed to be like glaciers here. They kind of look like crystals to me. You're doing a lot of healing, a lot of spiritual work, a lot of self-care, and doing things like working with crystals before you meet your future spouse. And you're keeping all of your love, all of your warmth to yourself. And you need to. You've given away enough. It's time to save some of that for yourself. And I wouldn't be surprised if you end up meeting your future spouse during the winter season, or when you feel like you're in the winter season of your life, if it's more metaphorical. With this childhood home card, like we said, there could be some family conflict around this time. Or you healing from family issues. Maybe that's why you have this fear of abandonment. Maybe it comes from family. But I also feel like you're just being so soft with yourself. You're almost like reparenting yourself. And remember how we were talking about Alice in Wonderland before? There is a sense of playfulness to you. I think you're giving yourself permission to have fun, to relax, to have peace again. So you could find yourself called to start doing things that you enjoyed doing when you were a kid. Maybe you get into coloring, or maybe you used to really love playing outside, and maybe you just find yourself going to work and coming home, going to work and coming home, and you don't get outside anymore. And so you're like, you know what? I'm going to start going for walks, or I'm going to start going to the park. I'm going to go to a botanical garden. I'm going to get some house plants. You start, reconnecting with that part of yourself. I'm just giving examples. This could be so many different things. But you reconnecting with what you used to enjoy when you were a kid. You also could be seeing symbols of things that you used to associate with your childhood. So for example, I know for me, when I think of my childhood, I think of my great-grandma's house. I think of smells that I associate with her home. I think of her gardens a lot. So every time I see fresh fruit, or I'm at like a farmer's market, you know, where there's a lot of fresh produce, I think the smell of tomatoes especially, I feel like tomatoes were her specialty. She grew so many different things. I mean, she had 2 gardens. She had so many fruit trees. She had an apple orchard. She had a pumpkin patch. She grew everything, plums, pecans, and we used all of it. And so I just remember that so much. I remember the sound of like breaking green beans or canning. And I remember the smell of tomatoes especially. And every time I smell a tomato, I feel like I'm at home. So it could be something as simple as that, certain smells, certain images you associate with childhood, maybe television shows or children's books, just whatever you associate with your childhood that's actually positive. You'll start to see those sort of symbols around you, or you'll start to notice them more before you meet your future spouse. Okay, group 2, we're going to end your reading now with 3 messages from your future spouse's higher self. If they could say something to you now, what would they say? And then we have some Spark Romance matchsticks, so we'll get 3 matchsticks to find out what are some things you and your future spouse will do together. So let's start with your matchsticks, group 2. And I'm just intuitively selecting these. We have put your favorite music on and have an impromptu dance party. I love that. I feel like there's something very freeing, very silly, very playful about your dynamic with your future spouse. We have trade a secret. What's one thing that you don't know about each other? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be with the King of Cups, you're probably going to have a lot of deep emotional, conversations with each other, a lot of heart-to-heart conversations with each other. The King of Cups is not someone that you keep things at a surface, like superficial level with. And I know that probably seems obvious, but I mean, not every relationship is like that. I mean, it's like pulling teeth for me to get my husband to have like a serious, deep, emotionally vulnerable conversation, because he likes to laugh. He likes to keep things light. That's how he is. He's definitely like a jokester, like a comedian type of person. He likes to laugh things off. And I can be that way too. So I think this is very, special to your connection. A lot of really deep, emotionally healing conversations. And I think it's going to be so nice that someone genuinely wants to know all of the intimate details about your life and your story and your past experiences and how they have shaped you into the person that you are today. So if you're used to being the listener, your future spouse is going to be asking you questions. They want to know everything there is to know about you. We have leave a note in a pocket or bag for your partner to discover. Yeah, I feel like, especially with you being with the King of Cups, this is going to be a very sweet, sentimental, romantic kind of connection. Very lovey-dovey. Okay, we have you're still making progress even on your worst days. That's sweet. And we said, you're not going to be in the best headspace, We have, you don't have to be perfect to be lovable. Yep. I think it was the Why Your Future Spouse is Going to Love All of You reading, where one group reminded me of Corduroy, the children's book, where the teddy bear has a missing button. And the mom, refuses to buy the little girl the teddy bear because, Corduroy, because he's missing his button on his little green overalls. And this card is even green, which is cute. So you could be from that group If you are, this is confirmation that you chose the right, the right group today. You don't have to be, but I wanted to point that out. But, Corduroy was still lovable even with his missing button. The little girl still felt a connection and wanted him. Even though there were other bears that didn't have a missing button, she wanted him. And then we have, and this is one of my favorite cards in this deck, look at everything you have survived so far. You weren't defeated then, and you won't be defeated now. I mean, that's that 9 of Wands coming through. You've been through so much. You are so resilient. You are so strong. Don't look at those past experiences as evidence that you're somehow broken or damaged. Those past challenges that you have been through, your future spouse is saying, honey, like that's what makes you strong. That's what makes you powerful. That's what makes you resilient. That has given you tenacity. You're so incredible for having gone through all of that. Don't look at that as evidence that you're somehow damaged or broken, because it's the exact opposite. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Group 3, welcome to your reading. So we have the 7 of Cups, we have the 2 of Pentacles, we have the Fool card, we have the 4 of Cups, we have the Empress and the Emperor. Okay, with the Empress and the Emperor here, you and your future spouse are going to be perfectly matched. I mean, this is like the best possible pairing if we were talking about a romantic partnership. You could be meeting your future spouse later in life, because the Empress and the Emperor are both very mature energies. I mean, the Emperor is the king of all kings. The Empress is the queen of all queens. These are major arcana cards. They're not court cards. So either you and your future spouse are both finding success, going through a lot of self-development at an early age, or like I said, you meet them when you're a bit older, a bit more established in your life, which is okay. definitely okay and going to set you up for a really solid, lasting, healthy relationship where there's a lot of mutual respect and both of you have something of value to bring to the table. It's not an imbalanced relationship. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there before we got into the rest of your cards, just to give you some reassurance that this is going to be a really great marriage. And I mean, one of you is bringing forward a lot of masculine energy, and the other person is bringing forward a lot of feminine energy. And okay, I'm going to get into the rest of your cards. I just want to say this before we get into it. I was talking with my husband yesterday, and him and I like to banter back and forth a lot. And I was telling him, thank goodness that we are different, that we don't have the same strengths, because if we had the exact same strengths, we would have the same deficits, we would have the same weaknesses. And we're able to help each other because we have different strengths, and we're able to overcome, certain problems better because some things that I'm good at, he's not good at. So, if he needs some help in a certain area, I may be really good at that thing and vice versa. And so I feel like this makes you almost like a power couple. You two are really successful. It's like you're strong on your own, but you're better together. So just wanted to say that. Okay. Now, at the time that you meet your future spouse, you're going to notice a kind of odd pattern in your life where you feel like you take one step forward and you go one step back. With this Two of Pentacles, it's like you make progress in one thing, but then you feel like you get set back in another thing. And so you're trying to find balance. And I think you're getting a little bit fed up with it with this Four of Cups. You're getting a little bit fed up with it. But it's some kind of blessing in disguise for you. There's something to where you're being held back a little bit so that you can meet your future spouse. There's something that I feel like you're trying to push forward with the Fool card. Like you're trying to take a leap of faith, go full force with something, but you're being held back. You're being slowed down a little bit. I don't know for some of you if you tend to be like an all or nothing type of person, but there's some sort of like big change you're wanting to make. With the Seven of Cups, you took a lot of time to think about this, and you feel like really confident about the cup that you've selected. So this could be like a big change in your career. This could be you wanting to move, wanting to make some big lifestyle change. Even you maybe choosing someone else romantically. Maybe you falling head over heels for the wrong person right before you're about to meet your future spouse. And the universe has to come in and say, whoa, wait. Not that one. Whoa, wait. That's the feeling that I'm getting. Whoa, wait. Not that. No. Like we just had you ready to meet your future spouse. Stop. Like just stop. Group 3, please stop. And so I feel like, you're in a really good place with the Empress card when you meet your future spouse. You are. And sometimes when that happens, we get bored, we get restless. And so maybe that's what this Seven of Cups is, like you feeling restless, you wanting a change, you wanting to switch things up. And your guides are saying, whoa, wait. Like, we don't need you to make this decision right now. We need you to slow down. This is not a moment for you to take a leap of faith on something. We need you to slow down. Because you are about to choose the wrong cup. With the Seven of Cups, you are about to choose the wrong cup. We need you to slow down. And so I do feel like, even though you have a lot to be grateful for, at this time you are feeling that boredom, that restlessness. Maybe you're feeling a lack of gratitude too. And that happens to all of us. So don't take that offensively. But all of us can get complacent. All of us can take our blessings for granted. All of us. No one is immune from that. You can have a gratitude journal that you write in every day. But I'm just telling you, all of us have had a moment in our life where we didn't see our blessings. Or where we didn't realize something happening in our life was a blessing in disguise. And I think with the Empress card, I do feel like this is your energy. Now you could be the Emperor and it's okay if you are, but I feel like for most of you, you're coming through as this Empress. And I feel like for a lot of you with this Empress card, you're no stranger to taking a leap of faith. You're comfortable doing that. You're very connected to the divine. And so for you to be like held back like this, you don't understand it. And so I feel like there's a sense of frustration here of like, why am I encountering all of these delays, all of these blocks? So just to give context so you understand what I'm saying here, just for example, let's say you're feeling bored, you're feeling a bit dissatisfied, a bit complacent, you want to make a change, and you decide, I want to move to another country. I want to move across the country. I want to move to another state. I want to move to another city. You're feeling restless. You want to make a big change. And Spirit is saying, whoa, wait. Like, we need you to meet your person first. You are about to meet your future spouse. You can't leave now. You got to stay put. You got to stay put for a while so you can meet your future spouse. You're about to move away from them. Stop. And again, this is just an example. And so you find that it's really hard for you to get your passport in order or your visa. Because maybe you're wanting to travel to that place to make sure, yeah, this is where I want to move to first. So your flight could be delayed. Something comes up at work, you can't get the time off like you had planned on it. Your coworker is out sick, so you can't get the time off. You can't get the time off to go look at apartments, look at houses. Some delays start to happen, blocks start to happen that are outside of your control. And you're like, why am I hitting all of these roadblocks, one after another after another? As soon as I make a little bit of progress, I get pushed back again. What is this? And with the Empress, you're used to things going your way. Like, you're used to the universe supporting you. You're used to things working out. You're used to surrendering and going with the flow. You're used to that. At least at this point in time. Maybe you're not in your Empress energy yet. But at this point in time, you're used to things going your way. So you're like, what is going on? And so it's almost like you're irritated with your spirit guides. You're like, what is going on? Why are y'all working against me when normally we work so well together? What is going on? They're trying to get you to stay put. They are purposefully holding you back. So if you were about to make a big decision and you're encountering a lot of roadblocks and you don't know why, that's a huge indicator that you are about to meet your future spouse. If you keep taking one step forward to be pushed one step back, huge indicator that you're about to meet your future spouse. Massive. Okay, we have house, doll, and wings. I love the dynamic between the wings and the house card here, because I do feel like this is confirming what we just talked about, like you wanting your freedom to try something new and your guides trying to get you to stay put because you're about to meet your future spouse. Now, I also feel like with the doll card being here in the center, if you feel like you are looking your best, like I have never looked better, my hair has never been better, my style has never been better, physically I'm really happy with the way my body looks, whatever the case may be with your physical appearance, that's an indicator that you're about to meet your future spouse, especially with you being the Empress. I mean, she is very much physically attractive. Not only in her physical appearance, but also in her aura. Like she's a very, she's in that divine feminine receptive energy. So people chase her. She doesn't chase other people. People are drawn to her. She has a very magnetic energy. And I don't keep saying her, but again, I'm just talking about divine feminine energy. So if you're at a time in your life where you're like, I've never looked better, I've never felt more confident, I've never felt just more at peace with my physical appearance, that's an indicator that you're about to meet your future spouse. And with the Wings card, if at the same time you're feeling restless, you want a change, you're feeling a sense of discontent or a sense of boredom, and you can't quite explain why. With the Seven of Cups, I feel like you don't know exactly what is missing. You just know something is missing. So, you know how when people get bored, right? People feel a sense of dissatisfaction, and they all of a sudden start to make these like drastic, impulsive decisions. That's kind of your energy. Like, I'm feeling restless, I'm feeling bored, I don't know what's missing. What's missing is this connection with your future spouse, which is about to come in. But you're kind of like, I just need to make some kind of change. And so it's like this restless energy, this feeling of impatience when you're meant to sit still for, what you have been missing to come in. And that's kind of the Empress stepping out of her role. The Empress is feminine energy. So this is you seeking, this is you chasing when you're meant to wait and receive. When you're meant to surrender. So that's part of the issue too, you stepping out of your energy. Because like we said, the Empress is the perfect match for the Emperor. The Emperor does seek. The Emperor does chase. This is masculine energy. This is energy that takes action. So you don't need to go out looking or searching for what is missing. What is missing is going to find you. Your future spouse is going to be the one to first approach you. Whether it's in person or online, through social media, they are going to approach you. They are going to find you. They are going to notice you. They are going to make the first move towards you. Because like I said, for a lot of you, I feel like you are this Empress. And yes, like your physical beauty and your energy, your aura, that indescribable quality that makes you, your energy, that's what they are going to be drawn to first. That's what's going to pique their interest first. And for many of you, it will be a love at first sight kind of connection, a soul recognition connection where you just know. You can't explain why, you just know this is my person. And with House card here, you could be meeting them while you're at home. So you could be meeting them online. You don't have to leave your house. That's not for all of you, but it could be for some of you. But you're meant to stay put. You're not meant to leave home. And this could also signify that you meet them at places where you're comfortable, that feel like home to you. So if you have a local coffee shop, a place you like to shop at, a park you like to go to, somewhere that feels like home to you, could be a place where you meet them. That's just a little side message for you. We have peace, we have dreams, and we have fertility. With this fertility card, I feel like this is confirming, again, you are that Empress because she is the card that represents fertility in the tarot. But also here with fertility, you may be finding yourself really feeling like you want to start something new. And that's that restlessness with that Seven of Cups. Because fertility, this is birthing something into reality. So you may want to start a creative project, or you may want to start a business. You want to grow something from nothing. And you may be feeling like, especially because we were saying physically, like you've never looked better. Let's say, to keep this PG, you might be feeling a bit more passionate. You may be feeling a bit more like you're desiring physical intimacy, like you are feeling more lustful around this time. Let's put it like that. I think you guys get where I'm going with it. And with the dreams card, especially because we were kind of picking up on this energy of you two being soulmates, you could be getting psychic downloads. And remember, divine feminine energy, this is very receptive. So you could be seeing your soulmate, this emperor, in your dreams. Now, another group got the dream message, but they were having weird dreams that they couldn't quite make sense of, dreams that were really vivid with a lot of symbolism. Your dreams are going to be a lot more straightforward. A lot more straightforward. You may even just see them in your dreams. It's not going to be as confusing. It's going to be a lot more clear to you that you're dreaming about your soulmate. You're dreaming about this emperor, your future spouse. And you may have these like breakthrough moments where you hear a voice in your head that doesn't sound like you, or you hear words that don't sound like you, or that are spoken in the third, not in the first person. And I've had that happen to me before, and it was so weird. It's so weird when it happens. It's like, that thought doesn't feel like mine. Like someone speaking words of comfort to you, but it doesn't sound like yourself. You could have moments like that, because I do feel like you two already share this kind of psychic connection with one another. And with this Peace card, I feel like Spirit is trying to encourage you now to like remember this reading. So when you do start to feel that restlessness, that boredom, Spirit doesn't have to push you so hard to stay put. You can remember this and know, like, right now I'm just supposed to be at peace. I'm interpreting my sense of peacefulness and my sense of contentment as complacency or boredom or restlessness. But really, this is what peace feels like. This is what contentment feels like. It's okay. It's okay to rest. It's time for you to just stay put and receive this blessing of your person. It's not time to change and to start a new adventure. You're going to start a whole new chapter with your future spouse. It's not time for you to go off and have your own individual adventure. It's just not the time for that. If you do, you're going to postpone meeting your future spouse. I'm also hearing you're going to see a lot of symbols of angels. So it could just be angel wings or halos, or even just symbolism or figures of saints. But you're going to see a lot of angel symbolism. Okay, we have energy field, get back what you put into the universe, manifestation, attraction, and momentum. And we have sparkling falls, show yourself unconditional love, self-love, confidence, and self-care. This is it right here. Like, this is the secret sauce. Like, you're just meant to be in that Empress energy and stay there. That's it. Pour into yourself. The Empress is all about self-care, all about unconditional love, all about mothering yourself, taking care of yourself. That's the energy you need to be in to meet your future spouse. And like I said, they're going to chase you. It's their job to find you. They are the emperor. They are the seeker. They are the searcher. You don't need to look for them. They're going to find you. And so remember the importance of energy. Remember the importance of being receptive. You're the Empress, so you know how to do this. You know how to receive blessings. But I think there's a little bit of confusion, a little bit of uncertainty at this time. Of you not seeing a blessing in disguise. Of you interpreting a setback as something negative when really it's just helping you stay where you're meant to stay so that you can align with one of the biggest blessings of your lifetime, your future spouse. And I think at this time, you're going to be very sensitive to energy, because you're in such a receptive space. I'm tripping up over my words a lot today. I apologize. But you're in a really receptive place. And so you may find yourself really affected by the people around you. So just be careful about who you associate yourself with, who you spend time with, or even certain activities or certain habits that end up draining you versus what is fulfilling to you, what replenishes your energy. I feel like you'll also notice the cycles or the phases of the moon. If that's something you've never paid attention to, that's something that's going to be really affecting you around this time. The cycles, the phases of the moon. So you're going to pay attention when it's like a new moon in Libra or whatever. You're going to notice. Energetically, it's going to be affecting you in a major way. And I also feel like there's something about, and this is just a side message, but there's something about your future spouse's eyes. You know how they say like eyes are the windows to the soul? There's something about you seeing each other. Again, it feels like love at first sight or soul recognition. When your eyes meet, you're gonna know. You'll just know. And I'm really being drawn to like concentric circles. I don't know, maybe you'll be seeing repeating patterns here of circles. It makes me think of the moon and how it's always whole even if we can't always see it. Makes me think of trees, growth. And trees stay put, right? Stay put. If you take away nothing from this reading, stay put. When you're in that Empress energy, stay put. Okay, these Thera-Pets messages are from your future spouse's higher self. If they could say something to you right now, what would it be? And then we'll also get 3 Spark Romance Matchsticks. These will just represent things that you're going to do with your future spouse once you two are in a connection with each other. Okay. We'll start with your matchsticks, and I'm just going to select 3 matchsticks intuitively. I love these. And they're always like so like surprisingly on point. Like I just love them so much. Okay. We have take your partner on a blindfolded walk. I really love this for you two because I feel like Spirit is almost speaking symbolically here. I really feel like there's something about you two where intuitively you really trust each other, and that may be a totally different experience for you, especially if you're someone who's not used to being able to trust someone so easily, especially if we think about that 7 of Cups. And that anxiety about not knowing the outcome if you make a certain decision versus another. And so I just feel like there's this trust of like, I would follow you anywhere. But it's a mutual thing. Both of you have this feeling of like, I would follow you anywhere. And so I feel like together, you two are going to take a lot of chances together, grow together, have so many new experiences together. And so yeah, before you meet your future spouse, you're meant to stay put. You're not meant to go on another adventure. But with your future spouse, you're going to have so many beautiful, wonderful adventures together. And you're going to feel safe to do so because you have each other. We have rendezvous at a restaurant and pretend you're meeting for the first time. Yeah, I feel like you two would definitely do cute things like this to keep your relationship interesting. There's definitely a lot of passion between you two because there's very strong feelings. There's really strong feelings really quickly. And I feel like you two are going to have a really cool meeting because we picked up on soulmate energy. So you might have a really nice meet cute. You may have a really good story of how you two met, or it's just going to strike you how perfect the timing was. How maybe you could have just missed each other. There's something so special about how you two meet. Whether it's the where, the location, or it's the timing, but something very special about it. And so I think you two like to remember that. You feel nostalgic about it. It's very special to both of you. And we have volunteer for a good cause together. So this tells me that you two will likely share the same values, or you have something that's really important and close to your heart that your future spouse also feels is close to their heart. So maybe you both have a love of animals. That's just an example. But you two could have a cause that you both really believe in and that's super important to both of you. Okay, and now we have these messages from your future spouse's higher self. Whatever you manage to do today will be enough. You are a fighter ever and onwards. It's okay to struggle. You are doing better than you feel like you are. And progress is progress no matter how small. Keep going. Keep going. And know that anything that you don't complete today will be there tomorrow. I mean, they're really acknowledging how tough you are, how hardworking you are, and encouraging you to be soft with yourself, gentle with yourself. So this tells me that for a lot of you, you're not fully in that Empress energy yet, but you're getting there. Because the Empress would know that it's okay to be a work in progress. The Empress would be very soft, maternal, nurturing towards herself. That's a very feminine energy, right? So this tells me you're not fully in that Empress energy yet, which is okay. But I think you're learning this. You're learning how to be in that Empress energy. And I think your future spouse really wants to give you some words of comfort. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading.